buddy. We talk a lot about the top four of the rotation and the possibility of having a really good rotation, but I want to move to the bullpen a bit. What do you see out of that group there? I know that there was a lot of up and down last year, small sample size, but where do you see that group improving this year?
I think the consistency, overall is going to be needed. I think that, the guys that we have projected to be in our bullpen have shown the ability to perform over long stretches of time, and even for an entire season. If you go through their track record, you've seen legitimate big league performance. Last year, to your point, Thomas, in a small sample size, we saw Daniel Bard have a great year. National League Comeback Player of the Year, a lot of accolades for Daniel. Yensei Almonte threw the ball very well. Michael Givens with Baltimore and us showed performance. And some other guys had tough years. And, we need to bounce back from another, some of those fellas, specifically Carlos and Jairo. And we get Scotty back healthy. He'll be an integral part of our pen. He had a great year in 2019. So, the pieces are there. Looking forward to seeing, Robert Stevenson, see what he can bring. I thought he threw the ball well, at times during, his career. Some good numbers there. So there's stuff out there. I mean, every team has big arms, big stuff. It's a matter of, again, performance, making pitches. We talk about that all the time. It's, easier said than done, but I think the talent level's there to have a really, really good bullpen.
To follow up on Carlos and Jairo, when you dug through the numbers and maybe some of the more advanced stuff on their pitches, did you run into any common things with either of those that you could definitely show them the readouts and work on those?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that the, technology can tell you, but what it comes down to a lot of times, Thomas, the nuts and bolts of pitching. I mean, you gotta hit your spots wherever that spot is, whether it's down and away, whether it's down and in with a sinker to a right-handed hitter if you're a right-handed pitcher, whether it's an elevated pitch at the top of the zone. I mean, again, you have to command the baseball, to have success. And those guys in particular, or any pitcher who scuffles, it's a matter of location, and a lot of times it's a matter of being in the right counts to be able to throw certain pitches in certain spots and take advantage of hitters' tendencies. So there's more to it than just the technology. If you're referring to that, it all blends together as far as what you need to do to perform, but pitching comes down to, for me, location.
And for them, they've done it before. I mean, does that make it a little bit easier to show, hey, you've done this?
Well, it gives you reason to believe it can happen again. And that's the end all expectation. And, the players will say that first and foremost about themselves. They have a conviction in their belief and their ability to be big league pitchers. And when you have success, you feel as though you can do it again. And that's the mindset that I'm, hearing from these guys, even though it's relatively early and we just got together within the last couple of days. But, the guys who pitched well last year want to, continue that momentum. And the guys who had rough years want to bounce back and prove that they're reliable big league pitchers.
Thank you.
Go to Patrick Saunders, Denver Post. Patrick, go ahead.
Morning, buddy.
Morning, Patrick.
We just spoke to the ever feisty Kyle Freeland,
Great.
And he was asked the question about many folks not giving the Rockies much of a chance. And he said he likes that. He likes going out there with the chip on his shoulder. So two-part question for you. One, do you share that sentiment? And two, how heartened are you to see a guy like Kyle come right out and say, hey, bring it on?
Yeah, I think it's great. And Thomas, Patrick, it's been that way every year since I've been here. Nobody's given us a chance in the 4 years that we've been together here since 2017. So I think it's great, and Kyle is out front, vocally in that, and I think it's awesome. He's a great competitor. He has great pride, in his own self, and he has great pride in this organization because this is his, this is his favorite team. We've talked about that often about, Kyle being a Denver native, and he's able to pitch and play for his favorite team. That doesn't happen very often. But I think, the Rockies, at least since I've been here, have sort of been the underdog. And I think our guys relish that, and probably now even more so than ever. So, again, I think it comes down to professional players who have a lot of confidence, who are being told that, the odds are stacked against them. But, my message to the team in general, I won't share exactly everything I'm going to, talk with the team on a daily basis about, but, just watch us. Just see what happens. It's why we play.
And one more question for me. You're going in with two fairly young catchers, at least from this organization's perspective, yet you have a pretty veteran starting pitching core. Do you think it's going to be important for guys like Freeland, Marquez, John Gray, et cetera, to really work with your two catchers, Diaz and Dom Nunez, during this spring camp to really make sure everything's on the same page, as opposed to maybe the catcher leading the pitchers? Maybe the pitchers have to lead the catchers a little more.
No doubt about it. That's a good point. We're to the point now. We talked about it yesterday a little bit, right? When we spoke about, the veteran part of this team now is, a number of guys, right? Trevor, Charlie, C.J. Crone, Desi. Now, if you look at our pitching staff, Herman, John, Kyle, Antonio, they're going into their fifth season, and John into his sixth. These guys are not, young pitchers anymore. So they will definitely, help Dom and help Elias. And, the shortened season last year hurt Elias because, obviously coming to a new team, not knowing the pitching staff. We had Tony, we had Drew, and, we got off to, that hot start last year with, basically Tony and Drew catching. We sort of rode that out until, the last, few weeks of the season, and Elias popped in there. But, I like the fact that Dom's been with these guys for 4 years in big league camp. He's touched the big leagues. So he knows these guys, through time in camp, and through a lot of these guys through the minor leagues. Elias, a little bit different story. Rabago, Briseño, those guys are great catchers in regard to the pitcher-catcher relationship. And we'll talk about that. And, that's something that we stress, each and every year and each and every day when it comes to the pitcher-catcher relationship, because you guys have heard me talk about how important that is. But these guys are on board with that, meaning both the pitching staff, the veteran pitchers, both in the rotation and in the bullpen, and the catchers understand the importance of that. So even though they might not have a lot of reps between the pitcher and these potential catchers, we should be up to speed pretty quickly.
Great, thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
Pat Graham with Associated Press. Pat, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, how you doing? Thanks for taking the time.
You got it, Pat. Good morning.
Good morning to you as well. Hey, got two-parter for you. Number one is Austin Gomber was saying that he's taking this trade for Nolan as a compliment, that the Rockies would think highly enough to include him in the deal. I guess, is that the kind of mindset you like, is that he would embrace that?
I think it's great, and he's right. I think that our scouts, our front office. I know the Cardinals, didn't want to part with him. He's got talent, so I like that he wants to prove that he's a big league pitcher, a big league starting pitcher. That's the thing that I like. That there's some motivation there. Not so much because of the trade, just because of his own personal pride in his own performance. So. He's told me that he's excited to be in this organization, to be given that opportunity, to feel as though he's an integral part of this pitching staff. I like everything that he said, to me personally, and some of the things that I've read, some of his quotes lately. It's good stuff. So, good for him.
And my second part of that is, ever since you've been here, you've been able to write Nolan's name in the lineup card at third cleanup spot. I guess just how different is that going to be?
Well, again, I think we've come to grips with that. You got to turn the page quickly. I think you can't dwell on certain things, but it will be different. But as soon as we start, even as early as today, and just talking with the guys know, and there's a lot of position players here who are going to do some workouts as well on some of the backfields. But this is a new era of a new team, and teams change. Teams change personnel each and every year. If you go through it, Pat, and you look at teams that have moved players or free agency, there's a natural movement of players each and every year. From the Rockies to the Red Sox to the Tigers to the Astros to the Marlins. To the Giants, it doesn't matter. I mean, teams change, and this will be our team. This will be our team this year, and this team will create an identity amongst this group of players. And from talking to the players, they're excited about that. About maybe a new chapter. So let's see how it plays out. Our guys are ready for it.
Hey, thanks for your time.
Nick Croak, The Athletic. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, buddy. I know that you like to get your starters as many innings as possible, and they've held together pretty well, especially the top three last year, when the full 60 anyway.
Sure.
Are you? Is that still how you view it? Are you trying to extend their innings as much as possible, try to get them to 200 innings?
Well, we gotta, we have to evaluate, where the guys are physically as we go through this. But, last year was a different type of season. There's been a lot of talk, amongst the media and probably more talk amongst people in the game, coaches, front offices, managers, pitching coaches, about how last year is going to affect the overall pitch counts, innings counts of your pitching staff. I still think that a team that has reliable starting pitchers who can, if your best five guys take the ball each and every day, that gives you the best chance to win over the long haul of 162 games. So we're going to try to do that. We're going to try to again be a very competent and capable pitching staff that logs innings. With that, we're going to be very conscious of our arms and our health. I think that's prudent, and we will do that. And that starts in spring training. But again, we're at a point now with this group of starting pitchers where they're in their mid-20s. They've been through big league seasons. They've been near or around or above 200 innings before. Whether that's a goal that we're going to try to get to, I'm not so sure of that. But if our guys, if our guys can make their starts, can make 32, 33, 34 starts of this group of starting pitchers that come out of spring training, we'll be fine. Because I do think there's some depth in the bullpen to pick up the innings that are left over. And I do think that, this group as it stands, the 13 guys who eventually make the team and the other guys who will supplement that during the course of the year who are in the minor leagues, there's some depth there that we need to be conscious of and taking care of those guys as well. But to your point, we're going to watch our innings, we're going to watch our pitch counts, but yet we also know that for us to be successful, or any team to be successful, you gotta log innings out of the rotation.
Well, with the roster rules going where you can go with unlimited pitchers, did you think at all about a 6-man rotation?
No. I mean, yes and no. I mean, you know what I mean? Yes. We think about everything, Nick.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
So you can say yes to that.
You didn't extend that thought all the way toward nearly
doing it. No, but we talk about everything.
Okay. Gotcha. And then can you give us a scouting report on what you know about Austin Gomber?
Well, I'll see more today, right? When I see him live, he's going to throw today, his first bullpen session here. But talking to Darryl Scott, who's been down here with Austin over 2 or 3 bullpens, it's a guy with a good, a really good curveball, a live fastball. I mean, his best stuff is probably the fastball curveball combination with a changeup that's solid average on the scouting scale. He's tall. He's 6'5". It's nice angles. When the ball comes out of his hand, the arm works nice. We can talk a little bit more specific, the next couple of days after I see him live. But, on video it looks good. I could probably more accurately answer that in the next couple of days.
Cool. Thanks, buddy. Gracie Ringlesby, go ahead.
Buddy, not looking at the past, but at the future, who are you looking at in the third base situation? Who are the serious candidates to play third base?
We're going to look at Mac, Ryan McMahon, Trace. We're going to Brendan Rodgers, Chris Owings, Josh Fuentes, Colton Welker, all the guys that are on our roster, all the guys who are in big league camp. You'll see a lot of guys over there, Trace. We've talked about this, over the last couple of months. At least I have publicly about this. I mean, we'll assess, what looks to be our best, what looks best for us as far as our infield goes. The thing about Mac is that, I think Mac is a plus defender wherever you put him, and we've seen him at first, second, and not many games or appearances at third, but that last week of the season at third base last year, he played well. Made some really good plays. Made some really good plays if you remember that series against the Giants, that 4-game series. Our second to the last series, he played great at third base. Made some really good plays. So, and he's a natural third baseman. So that's he grew up playing third base. So there's a comfort there for Mac. Brendan, he was a natural shortstop, so the left side defender comes into play. But, there's quite a difference between, third and short as far as reaction time. I don't want to get too technical on middle infield stuff, but, his play at second has been solid. He was introduced to second a number of years ago in the minor league, so he has more reps at second. Chris Owings can move around the diamond. Feel very good about his defense no matter where you put Chris. He's a lot like Mac, and whether it's second, short, or third. Josh Fuentes played a lot of third in the minor league, so he's comfortable there. Became an above-average first baseman, but Josh will get some time at third base in spring training. Colton Welker is a young prospect who's a natural third baseman. We've seen him there the last couple of years. So those guys are in the mix.
So does that basically, out of that group too, though, narrow it down, your first baseman comes out of that group too, you think?
C.J. Cron, who we signed just the other day, Trace, for me is an exciting sign. Last year he got banged up early, had 4 homers. Some of the numbers early, only, obviously only 50 at bats, I think, with the Tigers. But, look up his stats the previous years in Minnesota and Tampa. And I knew him in 16 when I was with the Angels for the one season working as a front office guy. He's a guy that can bring something, where he can bring some power, and at 31 years old, he's exciting too for our coaching staff and for our front office. That was a good sign.
One last question. In talking to the scouts and stuff, did you ever think you would be in Colorado where people would say the strength of that team is the starting rotation?
Yeah, isn't that something? I think it's great. I know that, a number of years ago when I was with the Padres, and, De La Rosa, Jimenez, Aaron Cook, there's some good starters there too. But this group, we've watched these guys grow up, and it's been fun for me because I came in the same year that they got their opportunity, right? When in spring training, right down here in Scottsdale, when I told Antonio he had made the team, when I told Kyle he had made the team, when I told Herman he had made the team, I remember those mornings telling these guys, and now here they are, right? And I think when I saw John for the first time, he was coming off a game where he struck out 16 Padres, I think, in the last game of the year on a Sunday afternoon in Denver. So, and here we are, 5 years later talking about this group. So it's been good to watch these guys mature.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
All right, we have time for 2 more here quickly. Dwayne DePron, go ahead.
Hey, Bud, it's good talking with you again. With the acquisition of Austin Gomber, you have a pitcher that has major league experience both as a starter as well as a reliever. As you enter spring training, do you have aspirations of Austin being penciled in that 5th spot in the starting rotation, or how do you think you'll best utilize Austin during the season?
Well, I mean, that will play itself out, but, our initial hope is that, he wins a job in the rotation. His motivation and desire is to be a starter. So we're looking at that. We're looking at that route, as is he. He's got the mix of pitches to do it. I think he's got the mindset to do it. Most of his games in the minor leagues were as a starter. So he has that. He has that mentality, and he has obviously some big league starts as well. So that's what we're looking at. But we also know that he's logged innings as a reliever. So there's a comfort there for us, knowing that he could potentially be in our bullpen as a lefty. But let's have a look at that rotation first, Dwayne.
Sounds good. Thank you, Bud.
Okay.
All right, we'll finish up with Ed Henderson. Ed, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, good to see you again.
Good to hear you, Ed, even though I can't see you.
Hey, buddy, as MLB expands from the 60-game season that we went through last year to the intended 162 in 2021, what challenges does this present to you at the start here of spring training?
Well, again, I think Nick hit on it. On the pitching side, we gotta, and we won't know until we get into the season and really get rolling. But really, taking care of our pitchers' arms and getting them ready for 162. I mean, there's a workload there in spring training that you got to get to be ready. I think the challenge for us, I think the baseball side, for a player is something that they're used to. The pandemic part of this is something that we went through in a 60-game season, where I think there was always light at the end of the tunnel that we're going to get through this, and everybody was committed, players, coaches, people traveling with the team, the things we had to do to get through that season successfully, health-wise. Here, we're doing this from the start, so I think the hope is that in time that maybe some of these protocols lessen, we can get back to some sense of normalcy as we get into the summer, and the mental part of going through this will lessen for the players and the coaches and the staff and everybody who's with the with the traveling party and down in the trenches down below with the group. So I think that's the biggest thing, is to continue to get through what we got through in 60, to get through. That hopefully the first 60, there's some things that lend to some normalcy as we get into the summer.
Thanks, buddy. Looking forward to seeing you.
Okay, guys.